Good afternoon, everybody. Snowy, cold, miserable day out there. Games being canceled. But thank you for joining us again on the Give and Go podcast, week 3. We see we're getting more and more momentum. Unfortunately, not a lot uh, going around out there because COVID, snow, a lot of games canceled, schools not going back this week. Doug, tough week.
I hope this isn't a sign of things to come, Nick, because we hear some rumors about some things, and I know a lot of schools have started to limit attendance, and I just hope that smarter heads prevail, and we can get through the season with the event scheduled as planned, because these seniors deserve a full season after what happened last year.
Yeah, especially some of these events, over the next couple of weekends. You got the one at Donovan that, Glenn was very disappointed. He had to cancel last year because, that money goes to a good cause, cancer. And then, the South First Shore, that I went to 2 years ago, was a great event run by Coach Corrado down there at RV. Hopefully these things don't, get canceled and, just move along, and hopefully some of these test results start going down, or the actual results. So
I mean, yeah, it's going to be tricky, but let's hope that things can be at least normal till March.
We did not get to go to a lot of games this week, compared to the previous 2 weeks. I know Doug and myself were streaming a bunch of games as, we could. We did get to, you got to go to the Homedale Toms River North game, which, battle of 2 top 10 teams. Very good matchup. Glad they got that game rescheduled. I know Toms River North had to run around, try to fill some holes with teams canceling on them. So Doug, you were at that game. Why don't you just talk about that game for a little bit?
Yeah, I was planning on going to the Homedale RFH game, but I guess RFH got shut down for the week. But they dropped a nice game right in my lap about 8 minutes from home, so great. It was a good game. I thought it was 2 evenly matched teams going in, but for the first half, it was kind of evenly matched. A buzzer beating 3. Gave Homedale a lead at halftime, 27-24. It's kind of slow. Toms River North had a lot of turnovers, a lot.
Seems to be a common theme with their losses.
Yeah, their losses. They cannot get into a half-court offense. They're turning the ball over in a backcourt. On a fast break, they're turning the ball over. It was just a lot of turnovers. And in the fourth quarter, Homedale just took over. Abby Ferguson went nuts. She had about 11 in the fourth quarter. So, I think we keep flip-flopping back and forth at the bottom of our top 10, top 3, 4, 5 kind of stay the same. But Homedale really impressed me. And then I talked to Darren after the game, and he said, it's been difficult. It's hard to coach when your games are canceled and you don't know when you're going to play, and you got to keep the kids motivated and keep everybody going. But I'll tell you what, the way his team looked yesterday, if he's having trouble coaching, when they can get in the gym every day and start playing, I wouldn't want to play them. They're tough. He went. Toms River North threw a little pressure on him. He had Ferguson bring the ball up, which I thought was a great move. And Lacopoulos, everybody was contributing yesterday. Martini, and they're just going to be a tough team to put away coming down the end of the season.
Yeah, I was streaming when they played Trinity Hall. They're tough. They're a tough team. Once they get it all put together, not being able to play consistently, there's some points they looked a little sloppy against Trinity Hall, but as the season gets going, just the fact that they never looked in danger in that game, and they're gonna be a tough team down the stretch, and that division, when we get to the postseason, just playing in that division, Group 2, they're probably going to see Manasquan in the finals. So I do, it's a team I have to, get to see in person. I saw 2 teams yesterday. People are like, "Oh, where are you going?" And then the first game I went to see was Freehold and Howell. Freehold, a lot of soccer players. At one time they had 4 on the court. Gabby Parker, running the point guard, one of the top scorers in the Shore last year in the fall as a freshman for soccer. And their goalie, Ashley Moore, got a lot of playing time starting. So young team, looked it on the court, but they got some athletes. Howell really didn't have any issues. Howell has a nice team, well-balanced attack with Mackenzie Green, Avery, and Kerry. A couple there upper, Mackenzie's a senior. I don't have the other grades. I know Avery's a junior. They're going to be tough, especially they have a transfer that moved that I saw her. She got some height, and they already had some height with McCown. They're going to be tough. They're going to be, if Marlboro doesn't get it figured out, they're going to be right there with Middletown South playing. And I think you might see them, they might be able to crack to the top 10. They look good. It was tough to gauge, obviously, against Freehold. But, like I said, everyone got involved. They played tough defense. It was a well-balanced attack by Howell over there. And the second game I saw was Toms River South in Brick Township. It was a fun game to be at. If you're looking for the highest level of basketball, obviously not the place to go. But competitive games, that's why I like going to see, the teams that don't get the exposure. Toms River South ended up winning by 10. It was a back and forth game. Both teams, equal balance attack. South just was able to close it out. Brick has 3 interesting freshmen, and if they keep developing, they in a couple of years they're going to be a team. We're talking about. The one freshman Riley, very good defense. You can see she's very confident on the court. Let me get the other girl's name. Sorry, I didn't have it written down.
From what you saw at a Brick yesterday, do you think they can compete in B South with Donovan? Maybe with Manchester?
Not yet, no. Well,
Okay.
Definitely not Donovan. Definitely not Donovan. And they're behind Manchester still. But they're also missing a junior that was their leading scorer last year. She's out with a foot. I saw her foot. She was in a boot.
Mm-hmm.
But they had one freshman, Madeline. They yelled at her. She had an open shot. She passed. Those, the things freshmen do.
Right.
So once they get more confidence, and I think they're definitely going to get better as the season gets along. And I think like in 2 years, maybe if these 3, they stick to it, they're legit basketball players, which is something Brick, hasn't had. You pull them from the soccer team, and all the other teams are in Bricks. So it's going to be fun to watch them develop over the next few years. But Toms River South, a lot of size underneath. They muscled their way, and with the girl injured for Brick, she's their bigger body. It was tough, and Toms River South had their way under it. But yeah, those were the 2 games I saw live. And Toms River South was missing their leading scorer, Aaron Wagner. I think her name. I think it's Aaron Wagner. Yeah, she wasn't there, so I don't know if she's hurt or COVID related. Who knows these days? But it's always fun getting to see players that you don't hear about, and
Right.
that's what we try to do. Now, another team we didn't get to see live, but you streamed them earlier in the week. I streamed both games. Was Wall. Very impressive win against Point Borough, which preseason we thought they would be competing for that third position with Ocean, and it looks like Wall was unfortunate that game with St. Rose got canceled today because of the weather. Really, that would have been the good measuring stick right there. How far is Wall away from the next level of teams? And I also streamed Middletown North game, which was 2 days ago, and competitive game, but Wall, hang on to win.
Yeah.
And it seems like every day somebody else is stepping up for Wall, which is good to see. Not just the two main attractions there carrying the load. Lauren Lacey had a pretty good week.
Yeah, coming in, it was Tverdic and Eldridge, but yeah, Lauren Lacey's been stepping up. She had a couple of good games in the OBM Christmas tournament as well. But we were texting during the game, and Tverdic's just solid. She's going to give you a solid game every time.
Yeah.
Eldridge hitting bombs from the next town.
For a little girl, she has some distance. She has Justine Passat distance on those shots.
Yeah, it's good to see that if they can get a third like Lacey and maybe a fourth develop, they're going to be a really competitive team. We said at the beginning of the season that they've got something there, and good coach in Wisher, and they're rolling right now. I wish they would have had the game against St. Rose today. We've got to get a little more of a gauge on them, but I'll be interested to see them play some heavyweights and see what happens.
Yeah, they have that freshman Marissa who's got some height to her. They could get her more involved as the season goes along. That could be another weapon for them to go with Shane, Emily and Lauren, and during the WOBM, Paris Thorpe had a couple good games though. So yeah, once they like this season, a team could get rolling, and then you find out you're not playing for a week. It's same situation as last year. I feel bad for these coaches. I feel bad for the players. So I mean, Toms River North was planning on playing Jackson this week. They had to switch out because Jackson School District, and then they get Rainy on the schedule today, which I just found out because of the weather is canceled. That would have been. It would have been good for Rainy, because Rainy's just getting back into the things again because they've been out, and Toms River North just seems to be their schedule just keeps on rotating. So hopefully it gets better out there.
Yeah, agreed.
Good event tomorrow down Manasquan Mainland. Hopefully, Mainland top 20. Manasquan, did not look good against RBC. Looked a little bit better. Who did they play Sunday?
Sparta in the
Sparta. Yeah, well, Sparta's top 10 team in the state. Mainland top 20 team in the state, undefeated. That'd be good. Hopefully that is still on for tomorrow. I'll try to get down there to watch that game. And besides that, I don't know. We don't know what's going on until hours before
the schedule. And we find a game that we think is decent, and it gets canceled for one reason or another.
Yeah.
And I guess we just have to roll with the punches and see what keeps happening, and try to find games. And schools will just pick up games, and we'll find out last minute who they're playing, and we'll try to adjust too. But it's got to be hard for the coaches and the girls.
Yeah, and the ADs that are working trying to fill these spots for the coaches and teams too. And you think your coach, all right, yeah, he's worried, but the AD has to worry about the boys team, the wrestling team. They're and they're going through the same thing. We just look at it, the girls basketball, but feel bad for some of these ADs.
And it seems like they're trying to fit as many games in as they can now, because who knows what's going to happen a couple weeks, a week from now, 2 weeks from now. You never know. So, try to get in as many games as you can, and hope for the best.
We want to move. We'll move to our players of the week.
Yeah.
What did I hit? Sorry, I hit something there. Just give me 1 second. I hit a button there.
Must be the weather.
Yeah, it must be. It must be my shakes. All right, share screen. Here we go.
There you
All right. All right, guys, and girls, and coaches. This is our week 3 division players of the week. Very tough week because limited games that were going on. We did our best. Doug, I'll let you start off with A North.
A North, I went with Mackenzie Green from Howell. I know they only won game this week, but she had a strong showing, 13 points against Freehold Township, and seems to be getting better every game they play. So Mackenzie Green's my A North player of the week.
Just to comment on her, I've been following her since sophomore year. She really stood out to me sophomore year, even though, the upperclassmen with Bresco and Leary there, she doesn't, very good 3-point shot. I was at the game. Looks like she added a nice little, like 10-foot jumper. She hit it a couple times, and she got hurt at the end of her sophomore year ACL. Because the season started late last year, was able to come back, and she really was taking the ball to the hoop strong. And she's always been a really good defender. Always gets her hands in the passing lanes. Comes up for the last couple of years. The senior leader of that team, and they could go. They can make a little bit of noise now, especially with her leading the way. I went with Bella Orlando back to back. For me, she finished with 10 and 5, 10 points 5 against Marlboro, who at the beginning of the season we picked to win that division, and right now they're Middletown South, has a good jump on that. So Bella is really stepping up she had a good season last year. She's really starting, stepping up for Middletown South. So definitely a team that I know you got to see them in WOBM. I haven't gotten to see them live yet, so definitely a team I have to get over there and watch. You want what's that? South? A South?
South. A South, I went with Amber Williams from Jackson Memorial. Um, we talk about Brooke McCown and Zoe Mayfield all the time and their big production, but we overlook Amber. She's pretty solid with her double doubles so far this year. I think I read the stats. I think she has 75 rebounds in 6 games so far. Yeah, cleaning up the glass for Coach Goodale. Only had 5 points, but had 8 rebounds and 2 blocks against Mainland, and then came back with 10 points, 14 rebounds, 5 blocks, and 5 steals against Hightstown. So good week for Amber.
Yeah, players like that fly under the and great girl, great family. I talk to when I see Sean all the time. Always say hello. Great to see her, healthy. She was battle. Her first 2 seasons. Last season with COVID was just a mess for everyone. Great to see her having, starting out and going to NYU. Great school. Good for her. Like I said, great family, and hopefully, she continues it through the season and helps Jackson Memorial. I went with Tom's River South, Janelle Blaska. Am I pronouncing that right? Do you know? I got to see her yesterday. She had 12 points, but the big thing was, she had 7 in the fourth when the team really needed it. It was a close game in the fourth quarter, and she got fouled, sealed the game with her foul shooting at the end of the game. Which in the first half, the foul shooting was below subpar for both teams. But she was, she hit a big 3-pointer to give the team a 6-point lead, and then she started getting fouled, and she was hitting her foul shots. So, I'm giving it to her this week for A South because she just closed the deal and helped Tom's River South win that game when their star player was out. So let's A Central. The first time this season we did not pick the same player.
Yeah, how
So
about that?
I'll let you. You got to see. Hey, did you watch the?
I watched some of the Holmdel Trinity Hall game. Haven Door had a good game against Holmdel, 16 points against Holmdel, and came back with 24 against Shore yesterday in a nice win. And we've been talking about Trinity Hall when they get all their pieces back together. It's going to be a top 10 team in the Shore, and they're starting to show it now. Nina came back, had a couple good games, so watch out for Trinity Hall. They're going to be pretty tough out.
Yeah, that looked like a fun game yesterday. Trinity Hall went up 12 or 13 at one point. And, I was talking to Will this morning. He said they got it to within one. And then, a couple turnovers, and Trinity Hall was able to seal the deal. So, yeah, it'd be good to see them. We were always talking, they're right there, borderline top 10. Now they got to keep moving up. I went with Homedale, Alexandria. I am not even going to try. What's that?
Lukopolis.
Lukopolis. Very good. She had a
Greek, Nick. Come on.
What?
Learn your Greek.
She had a great week this week. I watched the Trinity Hall game. She scored 15. Led the team in scoring that game, but to me, it wasn't even that. It was her hustle. She was all over the court that game, coming up with loose balls, taking it to the hoop. I know she played with JT over the summer for AAU, and you know, she was so confident out there. So expecting her, her name might start popping up for, all shore, one of the all shore teams at the end of the season if she keeps this consistency. Because then, she got Toms River North, we had a top 10 team. Toms River North always very tough on defense with, Jackie, Gia, Faith, all very tough defenders. And she still put 13 to help, lead the team to, their second big victory of the week. So I went with
Like
her.
you said, it's not just her scoring, but yes, she was diving on the floor yesterday, getting a lot of rebounds and holding the team together. So yeah, I agree with everything you said. She's really coming on. So,
And that's why we like doing this too, because that stuff never gets recognized, in the media. And it's big things like that. Somebody coming off the bench and making a couple of big defensive stops that turned the whole game around. That never gets the recognition. So yeah, seeing her hustle. We just gotta. I think I tweeted about that during the Trinity Hall game. So big things coming out. Homedale with her and Abby. Leading the way. B North. We both went with Madison St. Rose. Second time for me. Player of the week for B North. Um, what is there to say? She had 32 against the 12th ranked team in the country. 25 in the finals against St. Thomas Aquinas. 20 against Neptune and 15 rebounds against Neptune, and I'm sure she probably didn't even play the whole game. And Frio Borough, 10 points, but I'm sure she probably only played 8 minutes that game.
yeah.
But Miss Consistency, the reason why she's back-to-back Player of the Year in New Jersey.
And it's again, we're hoping to have Dawn on in a couple of weeks.
Yes.
To talk about things, especially the tournament in Florida. But it's got to be difficult. You go down, you're playing against three of the best teams in the country, and you put up, so let's 81 points against the three top teams in the country, three of the top 20 teams in the country. And then you come back, and no offense to Neptune and Frio Borough, but you're playing against these three nationally ranked teams, and then you have to come back and in your own division face Neptune and Frio Borough. It's got to be difficult, but she's just a fantastic player. There's not really much else we can say about her, but to do what she did against those teams is it's nothing new to us, but I hope it opened other people's eyes in the country to what a good player she is.
Yeah. I never talked to Madison in person, and everything you hear, as good as a player she is, even better kid. So, which and going to Princeton, we touched on it in the preseason. She's got a bright future ahead, even after basketball.
Yeah, absolutely.
B South. I'll let you go first.
I went with Maddie Bell from Lacey, and Lacey's another one of those teams, that's coming on. I think they're 5-2. They're going to be competitive in B South, and Maddie Bell had a good week. 10 points, 7 rebounds against Brick, and 18 and 7 against Barnegat.
Now, when I saw Lacey play, Maddie Bell came off the bench, so I don't know if she's moved into the starting lineup yet, or I mean, she is first off the bench, but not a lot of teams get bench production, so if you're getting production, and she's like very tall, she's double machine potential, every game. So I went with Donovan Kaya Joseph. Uh, they had a big win against Montville. Rival against Manchester. I know it was close to I think the game was closer than what the final score appeared, but she had 13 points on Sunday in that event up at Spotswood, and then another, consistent 13 points against Manchester. And, she crashes the boards, just, very consistent. I was looking at her stats. Only 2 games under 10 points this season, and I think one of them was the Manasquan game. So,
and doing that as pretty much the fourth option on the team.
Yeah.
But if she's your fourth option, that's pretty solid.
Yeah, and we talked about Donovan not they weren't sharing the ball a lot. They a little bit not they were a little selfish in their losses, but they were so impressive against Montville. Everyone Decker, Gabby, Olivia, I think they all had double-digit points that game. And there was a fast break. 4 of them touched the ball on a fast break. 2 weeks ago, probably wouldn't have said that. Right. So good, and like we've been saying, if they get it together, they're going to be dangerous. They're showing, they're showing that, just the way they handled Montville. Now, I didn't see the Manchester game. I'm sure the fact that it was a rival kept it a little closer, but Donovan, they're gonna be a scary team. If they keep it up.
Manchester game yesterday, and I think all 4 of their big players had double figures again.
Okay.
And and I'm saying Kai Joseph's the fourth option. It's not by talent; it's by design of the offense. Maybe a little, what we called selfishness. But you know what? We're going to get on teams that do that, but let's praise them when they don't play like that. Like you said against Montville, it was great to watch. Just the ball movement, and if they can continue to do that, watch out.
Yeah. Because they're gonna Gabby gets focused on defense, and rightfully so, and with keep moving the ball, they're not going to be able to do that, and I think that's just going to open Gabby up even more, and she could score from outside and take it to the hoop. So they could be a very fun team. When they're playing like that, they're probably one of the best teams to watch. Because they're fun, and they could push it, they could set up their half court. They got the talent there.
And there's, like we said, there's not many teams in the shore with 4 players like that. So
no. Yeah. B Central barely played any games the first 2 weeks. It looks like they're starting to get rolling. I'll let you go first.
I went with Isabella Bednars from Keyport, 19 points, 11 rebounds against Asbury Park, and then 4 points against Mater Dei. And you say, wow, 4 points against Mater Dei. Well, the team scored 7.
Yeah.
So she had 4 of their 7. I didn't see the game. I don't know what happened, but it's like we said, it's a competitive division, but you're going to get games like that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, she's a good player. We talked about her last year and this year, and just keep it up, keep working hard, and good things will happen.
Yeah, I got to interview her last year. Very good soccer player. Helps the team. One of the leaders, obviously, on the basketball team. So yeah, like that division, is probably the best place for Keyport to be in as far as the divisions. I went with Mater Dei junior Gianna Guzman. She had 13 in a 20-point win against Keensburg, and then she had 7 against Keyport. Just consistent. Week. If you look at Mater Dei, one of those teams that a different day, somebody else is in double figures. So they got some players. Barksdale's back there. Madison Lopez, good player. So it would be interesting when Mater Dei plays Rainey. Can they compete with Rainey? And speaking of Rainey, it's great to see that they're back on the court.
Yeah, agreed.
Um, C North, we both picked Lauren Lacey against Point Borough. I think it was Point Borough. She had 23 and 13.
Yes,
If I'm
23 and
right.
13.
And I think, she only scored 5 against Middletown North, but another 13 rebounds, inside. So,
Yeah, if she can keep doing that with and give them about 5 to the game with Eldridge's shooting and Tverdic taking the ball to the basket, that's solid for Wall.
yes. And then, add, Paris Thorpe, who hit a couple big threes in the WOBM. Like I said, disappointed the game got snowed out for today against St. Rose to see, where they stand, because they look completely different now than when they played RBR that first game of the season, the WOBM. And even that game, RBR opened it up, but, Wall clawed back, made it competitive, semi-competitive in the fourth. I mean, RBR to me was never in any danger, but, they have fight in them.
They do. And sorry, I keep leaving the screen. My dogs are driving nuts.
It's okay.
I have a Bernese Mountain Dog who loves the snow. She's out there rolling around, and I have a Beagle Italian Greyhound mix that last year would not go out if it snowed at all. This year she's running around like a maniac. They keep coming in, dragging the mud in, going out. So I apologize for leaving the screen, but
It's all good. So week 3, Broad Street Dough Company Player of the Week. Hang on, I want to get
third one already, huh?
week 3. The season's gonna be over before we even know it. I want to shout out again to Des for sponsoring this weekly award. Please go visit one of our 2 local locations in Freehold or Oakhurst. Trust me, as soon as you go in there, you're going to get hungry just by the smell. And I was looking at some of her New Year's Eve designs. How did whoever comes up with them? It's so impressive. So you could follow them on. They're on Twitter, and they're always supporting the girls basketball on Twitter. And you can follow them on Instagram if you really want to get hungry and look at their some of their specials and the designs that they have. And you could always order special occasions, birthdays, whatever. Always get from them for my niece's birthdays, soccer balls, unicorns. They do a great job over there. So Madison St. Rose from St. John Vianney. Congratulations, we already said it, doing it against the nation's best.
Yeah, I mean, what else can you ask for a kid? She kind of burst on the scene sophomore year, and when we had the pleasure of playing St. John Vianney in the Shore Conference tournament finals, every time Manchester would open up, there's this kid, this little lefty kid coming in and hitting a basket, hitting a big shot. You're like, who's this kid? This kid's pretty good. And all of a sudden, she just is a fantastic player, and it's nice to watch her grow up and continue to play hard and play well.
Yeah, back-to-back, NJ.com Player of the Year. I know I left basketball. Has there ever been a back-to-back-to-back? When Star Ledger was doing the awards? I don't
think so.
That's some accomplishment, especially with the talent in New Jersey that we've had over the past few seasons. I know we're getting a little ahead of ourselves, but she's on pace. Yeah. And she's doing, talking about scheduling, but when Dawn isn't forced playing some of these division games, she schedules the absolute best.
Yes.
So but congratulations to Madison St. Rose, and look forward to seeing them play, hopefully in the South for sure, against Paul the Sixth.
Oh, sixth, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, that should be interesting. We'll talk about that maybe when Dawn comes on in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Uh,
And
ready? What?
and for those that don't know, hopefully none of that happens in the Shore Conference. And I don't think, I don't see it happening because the coaches at the top have a great respect for the game
Mm,
and respect for other coaches. And if you want to kind of get an idea what we're talking about, go to nj.com and check out the score of the Winslow Hold the Six game from last night. And it's not good for girls basketball. It's not good for basketball. It's not good for any sport. But when you got a team that's 7-0 and ranked in the top 10 in the state, playing a team that's 0-5 with a good coach and just can't compete, and you do that to them, just there's no
mm.
room in the game for that.
Yeah, I mean the issue is, a lot of contacts in South Jersey. Their goal is to always score 100 points. And from my understanding, the starters don't come out until they get 100 points. They don't stop pressing until And there's definitely no need for that. I know some scores are, we have a lot of lopsided scores here in the Shore, but you're seeing the second and third teams in for some of these teams. I was talking to somebody in Manasquan. Starters played 15 minutes yesterday against Point Borough because that just doesn't. The coaches don't run it up here in the Shore, and it's not new there. There was a game last year or 2 years ago, like 96-14 or something, and I heard there was disappointment that they didn't hit 100. So that's the issue. It's not it's the way it happens. So
Look, it's
that's one of the
adjustment
other reasons I love the Shore Conference.
too. Me
So
too.
all right, let's wrap up with our top 10. Some changes at the bottom. The top's pretty much the same, but let me pull that up here. Okay, so week 3, Doug, I'll let you start it off.
Okay. At the top, same St. John Vianney, 2 wins over Neptune and Freehold Borough, but then won their bracket in the Tampa
Mhm.
Invitational against 3 top 25 teams. Number 2, Manasquan stays in. A nice win over Sparta, and then a win over Point Borough.
Oh,
Number
I screwed
3,
that. I gotta fix that. Sorry, I put RBC there for you.
oh yeah.
That's my fault. I meant to fix it last night.
Oh, that's okay. No worries. Oh, you know what? No, wait. I think I screwed it up.
Okay.
RBC, yeah, I screwed that one up. RBC
Okay, so
number 2.
RBC is 2.
They played head to head. RBC won, so you got to
Yeah.
keep them.
Okay.
RBC with 2 wins over Matawan and Raritan on the week. St. Rose, 1 game, but a nice win over Chatham.
Big comeback
Donovan,
victory.
yeah, big
Down
comeback.
17.
Not a spring game, and they came back from 16 down. So
Yeah.
nice win for them. Donovan remains number 5. Nice win over Montville, and then a rivalry win over Manchester yesterday. Homedale moves up to number 6. 2 nice wins over Trinity Hall and Toms River North this week. Jackson Memorial, number 7. 1 game, a win over Heightstown. Wall, number 8. 2 wins over Middletown North and Point Borough. Number 9, Middletown South moves into the top 10. 4-1 now, I believe, with a nice win over division rival Marlborough. And Neptune at number 10. They lost the game to St. John Vianney, but who isn't going to lose a game to St. John Vianney?
Yeah.
So can't penalize them too much. That's my top 10.
Obviously St. John Vianney, no reason needed. RBC, Manasquan, that's probably going to stay exactly like that until we get to Shore Conference semifinals. I still have Donovan, number 4, very impressive week. Good to see St. Rose get back on the court. Big comeback win. I think was it 16 or 17 down. They were down, hard fought. Obviously you sort of rust from not being able to play. Just following the game through Twitter, a lot of missed shots that Coach Chambers will get that definitely cleaned up. Homedale, who I did not have in the top 10, moving right up to 6th. You know, 2 big wins against 2 very talented teams, so they could show you what they could do. Against top 10 teams, I'm sure. Jackson Memorial, same with you. Feel bad for them over there because they were told they weren't going to play this week, and then they were allowed, but the teams they were supposed to play already rescheduled because tonight would have been a good test. It would have probably determined the top of that division. You know, with Toms River North. So look forward to when that game finally gets scheduled. Neptune, can't really ding them for the St. John Vianney loss. Uh, they're in C North, right? No, they're in A. I mean, it's B, right? They're with RBR and St. John Vianney. So look forward to when they get to play RBR. That matchup. That's going to be the matchup to see where they really stand. Wall, I moved up one spot, two convincing wins. Middletown North game was close, but we talked a lot about Wall already on this podcast. So St. Rose, that's going to be the test, and I look forward to the rematch against Ocean Township. That's probably a game I'll have circled to try to get to. And as you did, I moved Middletown South into the top 10. Only one loss. Was able to take Marlboro, who was the preseason favorite to win the division. So Coach Brandon's doing a good job with that squad over there. And if you have a bubble team, it would probably be Trinity Hall moving up, and
Lacey, Trinity Hall,
Rumson.
yeah.
Well, I mean, I know Rumson's not in top 10. They lost to Immaculate Heart this week. But their losses are all to very talented teams. So hopefully, when they get back from the shutdown that the district has, they could get rolling over there. So there you go. Have 10. There is our top. And anything else you got, Doug?
No, that's it. Just hope we can get some more games in this week, and hope that some of these one-day showcase games don't start getting shut down by the state. Let's keep plugging along, see how far we can get. Hopefully get through the season, have a short conference tournament, state tournament, and that's what we're looking forward to. That's what these kids deserve. That's what the coaches deserve. So let's make it happen.
Yeah, and hopefully we could get hopefully next week we could get maybe a player or a coach on for a few minutes. And I know in 2 weeks, we're trying to get, hopefully we could get Coach Carpella on to spend a little time to talk about Florida. We just got to, finalize the times, and we got a couple other subjects we'll bring up and get her input and her thoughts on certain things. Another thing I also, the TOC, TOC going away. I would like to hear her thoughts on that too.
That'd be
So
interesting. They won a bunch of them. So
yeah. So everyone, stay safe out there with the weather. I know it's going to get very cold tonight, so the roads are going to be bad. Hopefully that mainland game at Manasquan doesn't get postponed for any reason tomorrow or canceled. And I think Homedale versus Shore tomorrow at Shore Regional. That should be. I think that's a 10 o'clock game. Should be a very good matchup. Shore had another strong test. We'll see. Homedale's knocking on the door top 20. I don't know. I haven't seen the updated NJ.com top 20, but they have to be knocking on the door. And
I know Donovan got in this week.
They did get it. They deserve to be in. So I think they'll just keep moving up in that top 20. And if Homedale's not in, sorry Brian, I didn't look at your last top 20. Homedale's probably going to start. Probably crack the top. Maybe next week crack the top 20. So
yeah, once they can get a consistent schedule going and play some games.
So, all right, everyone. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week. Also, don't forget subscribe, and everything that those people usually say on YouTube that I never really like saying.
And if you have any back comments, you can leave them for Nick. It's fine.
Yeah. You could leave it, send me a message or something. I mean, I get enough of them, but whatever. But yeah, no, we appreciate your support. So if you could subscribe to the channel, it'd help us out, and like the videos. I never knew those things actually meant anything, but they do. So I want one of those silver things behind me that says 100K subscribers. Could we get that done before 2023?
I'd like to see it happen.
That'd be something. All right, everyone, stay safe out there, and look forward to
Take care.
seeing you guys out there.